Hey Hazel, what you doing now?
I'm having a battle between the Thing and the Hulk. Take that, Hulk. The Thing is stronger than the Hulk.
Hazel, the Thing is not stronger than the Hulk.
He is too.
He is not.
He is too.
He is not.
He is too.
He is not. Let's ask Mr. Hood. Oh, Mr. Hood, is the Thing stronger than the Hulk?
I think I'm going to lose my mind.
I guess we better wait until this episode is over to ask Mr. Hood. Let's start the show. Okay, viewers, as you know, we're giving away this beautiful hardcover Batman book, Absolution, to one lucky winner when we reach our goal of 250 subscribers. To enter, all you have to do is, number 1, like this video. Number 2, subscribe to the channel. Number 3, leave a comment in the comment section below. When we hit 250, we're going to randomly pick someone from the comment section, so make sure you leave one. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. This way you won't miss a single episode of the show. Thank you. We'll see you at 250 subscribers. Today we're going to take a look at a Golden Age box of Westerns. Westerns aren't popular anymore. I guess they tried to bring it back with The Lone Ranger, but that movie was so bad that was the nail in the coffin. They did do Jonah Hex after that, but that was another nail in the coffin. They just died at the mid-70s. They died out. They were just reprinting Rawhide Kid and Two Gun Kid. I think Charlton Comics still had Billy the Kid, but for the most part, Westerns are dead. They're still dead. Jonah Hex, yeah, he's still around, but they don't publish his comic anymore. But he had an amazing run. If you can get the last DC series that ran like 50, 60 issues, they were really good. I enjoyed them tremendously. But let's take a look at the Golden Age Westerns, an underappreciated genre that in the 30s to the mid-60s, TV movies, it was just phenomenal and couldn't get away from it. Kids loved it. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so the box we picked today is the Westerns. And we'll start with Six Gun Heroes. Just to give you an idea of who was out there at the time. You had Lash LaRue, Rocky Lane, Smiley Burnett, Hopalong Cassidy. And these guys made a lot of money in the genre, cranking out these cowboy movies, because they were only about an hour, 5-minute movies. But from those movies, I mean, the merchandising and I guess maybe not the TV rights later, because nobody thought about that. Here's Johnny Mcbrown. He was very big back then. I remember as a kid having a 8mm movie of Johnny Mcbrown. But Dell had the Western Roundup. Dell had the majority of these Western heroes. Here's Red Ryder, who probably went down in history for Ralphie in a Christmas story. You shoot your eye out, kid, if you get the Red Ryder BB gun. Ken Maynard, Bob Steele, all of these guys made many one-hour movies, and they were the darling of children. I mean, here's Tex Ritter. Guy looks like he could be your grandfather, but kids loved him. And just think about this. Back then, you had these guys shooting people with guns, and they were the idol of kids. And think of where we are today. Come on, here. Can never be heroes today. But there they were back then. Tom Mix, I think I had 8mm of him. Here's Gene Barry, who was in War of the Worlds as Bat Masterson on TV. And then Charlton had Lash LaRue for a long time. He used a whip more than a gun. And this is Motion Picture Comics that made, I mean, here's a Western, but they had other movie comics that they did make. And one for the girls. I mean, why give it all to the boys? Here's Annie Oakley with her horse tag. Okay, so all of these I'm going to show you now are Dell 4-color comics. It was a series that ran from 1936 to 1962 with over, well, it ran up to 1,354 issues. That is just insane. I think Action Comics and Detective Comics are just hitting 1,000 now, so think about that. And every issue was just something different. These happen to all be Westerns. They could be movies, they could be TV shows, they could be novels like Zane Grey. But Dell did these, and like I said, it was called 4-color. And sometimes they'd run Bugs Bunny in an issue, or Porky Pig, Warner Brothers. I think they had the Peanuts. I think they had Little Rascals. But here are all the Western ones that they did. Just think, you're a kid, and you're going to go out there and spend your dime on Tonka, you know, instead of a superhero. Tonka, by the way, that is Sal Mineo. That movie made about $2.5 million back in the 50s, which is about $25 million today, I would think. I don't know if you released a movie called Tonka today, if kids would go see it or not, but I doubt it. Here's one of the greatest Western TV shows of all time, Wyatt Earp, with Hugh O'Brien. If you've never seen it, just hop on YouTube and watch it. It's great. I have never seen a Jace Pearson as the Texas Ranger, but he appeared a lot of times in the 4-color series. And here's Johnny Mcbrown, who looked like he had a bit of a belly on him, but he was a big star back then. Now, these are, I only got a few DC Western ones. Johnny Thunder, who ran in the 70s. They were running reprints of this guy in the 70s. And here's Tomahawk, which, this is interesting. When Tomahawk came out, it was Tomahawk against the Indians. That's number 50 there. And here's number 68, Tomahawk against the Indians. By the late 60s, Tomahawk's fighting weird creatures, aliens, gorillas, the usual things DC was pushing back in the Go-Go Check days. So, poor Tomahawk. Here's Rin Tin Tin and Rusty. They had their TV show back then. Very popular, Rin Tin Tin. Giving this horsey a kiss. And here's a Charlton, Outlaws of the West. So up next is probably the greatest Western hero of them all, the Lone Ranger. And Dell had it. It began in 1948. It had some nice painted covers. If it's not the Lone Ranger we knew, it was a little different. He had a red shirt on back then. But it ran from 1948 to 1962. Love these painted covers. And Gold Key picked it up, 64 to 69. And then it became spotty. Like, they put out an issue or two between 72 and 77, I think. But Dynamite Comics does publish some new Lone Ranger stories, if you're interested. They're violent. I mean, you know, back then, all right, yeah, the Lone Ranger shot people and beat them up, but now it's pretty brutal. I wouldn't let my kid read it. But the Lone Ranger was a big hit for ABC. It was ABC TV's first hit TV show in the 50s. It ran for 221 episodes. Let me just cut in by saying, if you love The Lone Ranger, you'll love another book. We'll put out Tonto as sidekick. There was a lot of cool stars that appeared in the TV show, like Glenn Strange, who played the Frankenstein monster. John Doucette, who you probably don't know who he is, but if you saw his face, you'd know. He starred in sitcoms, all kinds of shows through the 50s and 60s. Lone Ranger made his first appearance in 33, I believe, too, on the radio. So who could match the Lone Ranger in popularity? One Roy Rogers right here. Roy's comics ran from 1948 to 61. And Roy started out as a singer, then got into TV, film. Of course, I think everybody ate some of his fried chicken as you drive on the Jersey Turnpike. But this show is really geared towards children if you read it. And then Dell, his wife, she had a book of her own. Then Roy said, hey, how about me and Trigger? We'll do a book together. And then Trigger said, hey, I want my own book. And here he is, Trigger. The Adventures of Trigger. Possibly outside of Wyatt Earp, my other favorite cowboy, Bill Boyd, who was none other than Hopalong Cassidy. If you've never seen a Hopalong Cassidy movie, put aside 1 hour, hit up YouTube, and I think you'll enjoy it. His sidekick, Windy. Gabby Hayes played Windy. He got his own book. They're very enjoyable. You'll like them. And I could see why kids looked up to Hopalong Cassidy. You'll see when you see the movies. Mexico, Cisco Kid. Some awesome painted covers. Cisco Kid was huge. He had his own TV show too. He was a gay caballero, but not that gay, but he was a gay caballero. And then Gene Autry, huge popularity, multi-millionaire. He got, especially from singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and what was it? Jingle Bell Rock, I think Gene Autry did too. Just a huge star in his right, merchandising. He invested right. I believe he owned a sports team. That was his horse Champion. And here are the March of Dimes comics. These were little mini comics you got when you went into stores. And the March of Dime comics ran until, I think, 1984. So a huge run. Just issues went over 1,000. Just giveaways. Here's Paul Parrott shoes. So, and I think we're going to finish up with a little Straight Arrow. Maybe not politically correct in today's world, but his arrow was straight, not bent to the left. And here is something wild. Here's Wild Western. Up Satan, it's a trap. And here's Bronco Buster. Up Satan, it's a trap. Kind of the same covers here. And I do know the reason behind this is this one is a Canadian comic, and here's the American comic. And that is a wrap. Alright, I thought we'd do something a little different and show you some comic sci-fi related records. Here we have Batman, that is a Neil Hefti album. And then we have Batman and Robin. It's not Jan and Dean, but it's a lot of surf music. They call it Dan and Dale. Singing songs about the Joker and the Penguin in the vein of Jan and Dean. This is the soundtrack to Buck Rogers' TV show. This was a recent album. This is a Record Store Day picture disc of Barbarella. I'll show you the back. This is a 45 of the theme song from Superman the Animated Series and I took the record out to show you. It's really cool. It's the symbol on his chest, and there it is. So that is really cool. This is a Spider-Man record from the early 70s. They advertised it in the comics as a rock opera or rock comic. It's pretty bad if you listen to it. It was on Buddha Records, and there is a Spider-Man poster inside of this. I'm not going to open it up and pull it out, but I believe it's the picture right here that you get. And then, if you were a kid, I think everybody had a Power record, or Peter Pan, which was the parent company Power Record, book and record set of heroes like Spider-Man. And here's another Spider-Man story, Power Records. Batman, Neil Adams cover. Space 1999. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Three Stooges. $6 Million Man. And this is very bizarre too. It's a Justice League album. The songs are horrendous. It sounds like Stubby K is singing them. If you ever, maybe you can go on YouTube and listen to it, but it sounds like Stubby K is singing the songs. If I remember correctly, Justice League is "Look out, chum, here they come, the Justice League." Yeah, got a horse right here. His name's Paul Revere. Conan the Barbarian. They did a lot of Star Trek. I think there's 5 different Star Trek records. Superman. Who Loves You, Baby? Telly, Kojak. Now, I don't know what kid would go out and buy a Kojak record to listen to the story. Being Kojak, I think he was on 10 o'clock at night, but that's okay. Battlestar Galactica, this is not a Power record. This is Doctor Who. It's a story. There's no music to it. It's a picture disc. Here's the TARDIS. And this is more story. This is Genesis of the Dialects. This is a recent release. The soundtrack to the Peter Cushing movie, Doctor Who and the Dialects. I didn't even crack it open yet. This was a record store day release. And this is a record store day release, Dark Shadows, and the really cool thing about this is, pull it out, the purple psychedelic trippy pressing. So that's it for this batch of records. And Hazel is standing by, right, Hazel? You want that bull, don't you, Hazel? All right. I got the bully. I got the bully.